Recently, Rams wrapped up the scrimmage against the Chicago Bears and Lovie Smith. Now, remember, people, there was only a dress rehearsal, so don't expect the Rams to expose too much out of the playbook. Of course, Orlando Pace wasn't there, Kyle Turley, nor Dave Wallaby. So don't expect the Rams to open up too much because they got to play the Bears soon, and they got to see how these other guys are going to pan out, such as Jeff Smoker, Tony Hargrove, Adam Matthews, so on and so on. On to the Oakland Raiders. They recently cut Tim Brown. Now, Tim Brown told Al Davis that he does not want to be a number 4 or number 5 receiver. He still feels that he can make contributions. He wasn't a North Turner guy. Maybe he'll latch on with the Dallas Cowboys. Also, there's a rumor going out that he may wind up playing in Tampa since he's very familiar with John Gruden and his system. Chrissy Carter was recently cut by the Dallas Cowboys. Shocking news. Just a week ago, he was going to be the starting quarterback. Not anymore. Vinny Testaverde has the job. He tested positive for an illegal substance. Jerry Jones and Parcells have already been down this path before with players from other teams. Now, who said the NFL season gets cracking in September? It already started. If I could be serious for one moment. Now is one of my favorite times of the year. Leaves are turning brown, falling to the ground, kids back in school, football season, and of course, deer season. But do you know how many deer are killed each year? Hundreds and thousands of deer die. Fawns growing up not getting a chance to know their father. And do you know why? Because of a substance called deer cocaine. That's right, deer cocaine. Have you ever wondered why a deer would run through a plate glass window when the season's on reflection? Or frozen in the headlights of an oncoming vehicle? It's because of this deer cocaine. People, we need to get this stuff out of our woods. Now, if you call this number, 1-800-OH-MY-DEER, 1-800-OH-MY-DEER, because you never know when a deer may knock the buck out of you. Back to you, Randy.
What's deer cocaine?
Palmer's trying to save the world
like
too.
You don't know.
Obviously, we don't drug test on this show.
Recently, the St. Louis Cardinals and Cubs finished up their season series for the year. The Cardinals redeemed themselves after getting whipped like a government mule last season. Yes, it was only 2-game sweep, but think about the way that the Cardinals beat the Cubs. They came back from an 8-1 deficit. It is outstanding that the way this team has been playing. Yes, I have talked unkindly about our beloved Redbirds, but why shouldn't I be skeptical? We've seen them fall apart, and we know what they've done in the past postseason since La Russa has been here. This season, the Cardinals are playing with more intensity. I think this season, this team is playing so much together. Despite the fact that Matt Morris is struggling, at least he had the testicular fortitude to throw at the first cup that he saw in retribution for what Zambrano did the night before. Way to go, Chicago Cubs. Whole lot of professionalism. Hey, Zambrano, it's not my fault that you're about as smart as that red string that you wrap around a piece of bologna. Dusty Baker, you got to have better control of your team. It doesn't matter what you say or what you think. St. Louis Cardinals, right now, they are the team to beat.
Those Cubbies have quite a deal in dealing with adversity and dealing with prosperity. That's why it has been since 1908. Let's start off with Palmer Alexander. You got a topic for us?
Yes, we're going to talk about Steve Klein. The big hubbub over the last few days was that Steve Klein flipped off Tony La Russa because he took him out the ball game. So
didn't bring him in.
He did. Well, he didn't bring him in. You know what? I don't care. So what? He flipped off Tony La Russa or Tony La Russa or whatever you want to call him. You know, the fact of the matter is this guy wants to win. I'm glad that this guy has the fire, the intensity, the guts to do what he did. Randy, I don't know if you ever done that to your general manager.
No.
Boss. Hey, Stone Cold Steve
Not when
Austin.
I was still working for him.
Hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin did it for 5 years, and Vince McMahon paid him $5 million a year. So what the hell?
If you're going to flip off your boss, you don't do it in front of 30,000 people on live television. I almost like the fact that Steve Klein is that much of a competitor, that he was angry. And it seems like there's an issue where he gets warmed up, doesn't come in the game, gets warmed up, doesn't come in the game. Over 162 season, they have to figure out some type of way to save him for the game. What was a bigger controversy, I thought, was Isringhausen complaining about not getting in the game. He blew the save the night before, so he was in the doghouse, and then he's somehow upset that he wasn't called into the game, he blew the save the night before.
Well, first of all, as far as Steve Klein goes, we all know Steve Klein, and he's a goofball. He's a good guy, but he's a goofball, and this should not be unexpected from Steve Klein. Should it, Mel?
You know what? No, but it's unexcusable. I mean, you cannot make gestures against your manager. You know what? Sometimes things happen where he's thinking 3 or 4 innings down the line where you just
getting warmed up.
Yeah,
3 or 4 innings early.
You just don't throw a guy out there and then you have a guy flip you off. I'm going to tell you something. I love Kleiner. I love his passion. I like the way he goes about playing the game and bringing the fans in. He was way out of line. He made his manager look bad. Kids don't need to see that. I mean, people see Klein doing positive things out there. That's ridiculous. Come on, man. He's a grown, doggone man.
But when La Russa left the dugout to talk to Taveras, didn't everyone think Klein was coming in?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was just, and I mean, I don't know if La Russa changed his mind on the way out or something happened, but it was the heat of the battle.
He's the manager.
I understand that. I understand Klein is wrong. I understand Klein is wrong.
The buck stops with him. That's what his job is. You know what? If he warms him up every game and he never puts him in, so be it. He's the manager.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He's a competitor. If he want to flip some off, fine. I'm fine with it.
So you're what's wrong with American sports.
No, this is America. This is America.
It's not America.
How many people have died, Malcolm?
But the issue is,
let me tell you something.
I think the bigger issue is
about
flipping.
the manager. It is his call. The player does not run the show.
See, I think a bigger issue, I think there are situations, obviously, where players confront managers, employees confront their bosses every day. But doing it, like you said, McGraw, in a public forum, on national TV, hey, anybody, your kids play sports, my kids play sports, anybody who's seen a kid's baseball game knows that kids emulate what major leaguers do. I don't think that is what we want happening in our country.
I've seen Fernando Vina go off on Tony La Russa in his office because he was not in the lineup. That's the place to do it.
And La Russa will never embarrass a player in public.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but you gotta think about it. They're human. Hindsight is 20/20. It's easy to go back and say, oh well, you shouldn't have done it. It's too easy to say that.
Hope you're never a manager,
Well,
dog.
sometimes I feel like flipping somebody off.
How many words are we going to draw? I guess we're going to have words for this one, and it's going to be one word to describe what we think of Steve Klein, Tony La Russa, and the whole Cardinal situation.
Normally I bring my personal writer for me, but today...
Palmer, you ready to go?
Yep.
It's all you.
Whether you guys agree or not, freedom. He has the freedom to do whatever the hell he wants. This is still America. He's making a salary playing a kid's game. I love it.
Week before 4th of July, how fitting. McGraw?
All right, last and finally, let's get this all straight. The manager for the Cardinals, his name is La Russa, not La Russo. All right, he's been here 7 years. We should figure out the guy's name. He was right. Klein was wrong.
Malcolm.
Last but not least, I know, well, you're last, but bunk. This is all bunk. The bottom line is he is the manager. He calls the shots. The players do not wag the dog, even though people pay to see them play. You've got to have somebody that's going to keep them in the boundaries, and that's La Russa's job. If he didn't want to bring him in, he didn't bring him in.
It's been fun from a media standpoint, and obviously our friends at ESPN got a big kick out of it. But the fact of the matter is we need to take a deep breath and be
This
calm.
town needs an enema.
Calm about what Steve Klein and Jason Isringhausen did. First place team, best record in the National League, and we're still talking about Steve Klein.
Absolutely.
Let's just chill. We have more coming up. McGraw is going to pick the next topic right after this on Chalk Talk.